I've been seeing the attempt by certain individuals on the left and on the right to have their voices heard, have things done, and quite frankly have other people save them by using, out of all things that they can use, hashtags. Now, as far as hashtags are concerned, we have seen two major hashtags, particularly on this side of YouTube, in which those on the left and the right respectively have used. Hashtag ADOS, which basically stands for African Descendants of Slaves, or as I like to call it, African Descendants of Scraggle-Daggles. If you want to know why, look at my recent video, The Final Destination of ADOS. And on the right, and this is something that I have not talked about until now, this hashtag called Blexit, which, by the way, if you want to know what that is, that's basically a hashtag that was started by one Candace Owens in order to address the stampede, as they call it, of African Americans moving away from the Democratic Party over to the Republican side. Well, quite frankly, when it comes to hashtags and all this other kind of stuff, look, hashtags are not going to save you. Hashtags will not do the job. Hashtags will not push agendas. Hashtags will not save you. And why do I emphasize this, especially in the case of thinking black men? Well, let's just go down the list with each one. On the ADOS side, I've already did an analysis of that, but I will go into a bit of detail on what this really is. ADOS, this movement, from what I've seen, quite frankly, is the collection of people from the community, whether people who have a triple-digit IQ and are doing their best in life. I can't commend those individuals for rocking ADOS. I know people who I respect who rock ADOS, and to each their own. I'm not going to criticize them specifically for their decisions or for their beliefs, because quite frankly, the immigrants from the Caribbean and from Africa have been benefiting a bit more, at the very least, from the benefits that was slated for African Americans. However, what we're seeing here is the disproportionate rewarding of things that people did not earn. And we have to mention that. I'm not going to throw the African and Caribbeans under the bus per se and call you African booty scratchers, but we have to call this down the line. A lot of the benefits of affirmative action and the like have been given to individuals whose ancestors didn't suffer through anything, and in some cases, whose ancestors played a part in bringing the ADOS people to the United States against their will. Given that, you have the majority of individuals who are rocking ADOS who, quite frankly, should not be receiving anything, because these individuals are the kind of individuals who have dragged all blacks into the muck and mire state of the former rotting corpse of the so-called black community that we see here today. As far as this is concerned, when it comes to ADOS, the weakness is this. First of all, they're spending a bit too much time, at least in my opinion, trying to say who is an ADOS versus who is and that sort of thing, which, as I stated in my last video, it'll come down to getting rid of the Caribbeans and Africans, alienating them, which financially I can understand. However, this is also going to come down to alienating a lot of people who have at the very least part ADOS blood, and in some cases predominant ADOS blood, but may look as if they're biracial, like yours truly. And this will also come down to eliminating those who basically don't buck and dance to the community script. As I stated before, the ADOS movement, for the most part, in my opinion, has a bunch of individuals who, in my personal belief, are the least worthy of earning any sort of payback or reparations. This goes beyond the fact that they're going to trick it off in some sort of strip club or Jordan collections or rims and whatever Negro trinkets are hot this week. It goes beyond that. This is about who's worthy of receiving any sort of due and payback. The ADOS community, for some reason, refuses to stand up, take action, and say, hey, look, yeah, we're all ADOS, but just because we're ADOS doesn't mean we're equal. There are some of us who have worked harder than others. There are some of us who have resisted the street life. And there are some of us who have gone against the grain of what society has told us that we should do or what we've been programmed to do. Those who, quite frankly, have bucked the system, particularly the system of failure that was set up to us by, yeah, I'm going to say it, those on the left, the welfare state creators of the left. Those who have resisted that should be the first ones who receive benefits and the ones who receive the most, because those individuals, us, thinking men, thinking ebony men and women, have proven that in spite of all the statistics going against us and in spite of all the adversarial actions that we have received within the community, you know, the Pookies, Ray Rays, Bonquishas, Shananes, and their babies' kids. You know, the same ones that the majority of these ADOS asshats are advocating for, stating that, well, they're ADOS too, they ADOS too, and we's all the same, and they sees us as nothing but Negroes, and blah, 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 because, so that's why we all need to receive equal payment? Nah. Once the ADOS movement starts cutting off the fat, and only includes those who are worthy of any sort of payback, those who will be seen as credible in the eyes of the greater society, then ADOS can talk. But then again, I've been saying this for the longest time about the community in general and how they need to cut off the fat. But no! These people will rather hold on to Nook Nook, Day Day, and Bonquisha and let them ramble on and live streams and all this other kind of stuff, because for multiple reasons, which I'll definitely make a future video analyzing this when it comes to the community and their sympathetic actions when it comes to dealing with the underclass. In the meantime, shout out to G Lowry. His channel link will be down below. He has been putting the foot in the asses of the underclass blacks. The same blacks who have made us all look like fools and all unworthy of receiving any sort of reparations, quite frankly. So once ADOS addresses those group of people and starts discriminating, yeah, I said it, discriminating against the worthwhile individuals versus the unworthy sacks of crap, the dead weight, once they do that, then ADOS can bring up their concerns. Then ADOS can be taken as something that is credible. Now on the right, the right-wingers. You think you right-wingers were safe? You guys who wear MAGA hats and go around and try to get attention and try to get people to yell at you so you can basically say, oh, see, they're after Blexit blacks. They're after conservative, black conservatives. They hate us. We are the most hated group of people in America because they don't have a double-digit IQ like us, and they didn't have great-grandpappies who were given $feed by the Klan in 1921, and America, F yeah. Well, funny thing, and before I get to you black conservatives, I may make a video about you guys alone, given the response you guys have to this video, but as far as this Blexit thing is concerned, this is going to fall apart. For starters, notice how a lot of these black conservative dudes, with all their non-stereotypical triple-digit IQ, demeanors and mannerisms, notice how these individuals are not allowed to do one thing that certain individuals who don't kowtow and buck dance to a political party can do. Date outside the race! While the conservative women, the black conservative women, all they do is swirl, and nobody bats an eye. Looks good so far. I mean, heck, you're gonna ask me to be a black conservative and yet penis monitor and penis control who I can date and make me reduce to dating someone who looks like me? This there's a reason why I lean more libertarian than anything else. But as far as this Blexit movement is concerned, for starters, what's the agenda? I don't see, just like the ADOS movement. Well, at least the ADOS movement has somewhat of an agenda, even though it's mostly divisive and it's right now mostly dealing with shouting down and shutting up people who aren't descendants of Scraggle-Daggles and speak like y'all mean then and don't use apostrophes to go in day house and and doing all this other kind of stuff, acting like slavery ended last week. I mean, if you don't speak like that, you're not ADOS, by the way, just to let you know that's coming down the line. But as far as this Blexit thing is concerned, you guys don't even have an agenda. It's just basically going around, crashing the White House, taking selfies, cheesing and cooning and buffooning and buck dancing. And I don't even use these terms a lot. So if you know I'm using these terms, it's for a reason. A lot of these Blexit guys who are talking about the conservative Republicans will save us. The Republicans will do what the Democrats won't. I mean, you see it right now with this lowest unemployment with black Americans and recorded history of ever. I mean, if you're looking at mainstream statistics, and I'm going to return those in your face, and I'm going to force you to do the real research, look at the underemployment rate, looking at the U6 unemployment rate versus the U3 unemployment rate that they give you, and looking at the other unemployment rates to really tell me where the unemployment rate for blacks are. As far as this is concerned, the Blexit movement has one fatal flaw in it. If you are going from the Democratic plantation to the Republican one, you are still going to a plantation. And within the plantation, there are rules. Rules that you have to follow in order to remain in the good graces of that plantation. And you know what those rules are? Well, for you men out there, you best not look at my Becky. Don't look at my Becky. We need her for the purity and preservation of Western society. We've been getting our butts kicked enough, even though we've been focusing our time kicking your butts when we were the Dixiecrats. As far as this is concerned, no, you can't be looking at our Becky because we know how you Negro males are. Even though I'm with my Lynn because she doesn't like y'all Negroes and she loves white men. Hell, she doesn't even love her own men. She's sold out Chat Yin and Hakai Takanawa and threw them down the bus in order to be with me. So that's how we're going to run in this plantation. I mean, but don't look at Becky though, even though I ain't messing with her because she's too damn independent and she has too much talk back. I can't have a woman with talk back, And just like you boys here, I can't have talk back within this GOP plantation. What? You want to talk about some real drug reformation, like ending the war on drugs? Like making marijuana equivalent to alcohol and cigarettes? Now that we can't have that. We have too many industries, lobbyists, and think tank groups who need to keep marijuana on that Schedule 1 drug, and we're running out of excuses, so we can't use the religious excuse. We kicked them out, and we can't use the it's dangerous and harmful to the children excuse because freaking E6 is doing a bang up job with getting my kids addicted way more than some marijuana. And besides the fact Fortnite is doing way more of a damage on the youth than marijuana ever could, we can't have that as a Schedule 1 drug. Oh yeah, what was that? Y'all want to what? Y'all want to address police brutality? Nah, man. What police brutality? Our fine men are the best of this country. Our boys in blue are always up to good. As far as that's concerned, I mean, there's no police state encroaching in this country, even though I was pulled over 4 times within the past 4 days. Well, I know. Look. Oh, ending this war in the Middle East? We can't have that. There are billions and trillions of dollars that we are making right now when it comes to dealing with the war in the Middle East. We can't have those brown people affect our freedoms, you know, because that's the reason why they really attacked us. Not because we were in their part of the country and world for decades on end. Nah, that wasn't that. We didn't create the Mujah. I mean, you didn't hear that. And as far as corporations concerned, the corporations are people too. Look, they're the ones who are hiring my son's friends and my friend's sons 6 figures off of getting their bachelor's in business administration, even though that's a half-assed dude bro degree if I've ever heard of one. But hey, look, my boys gotta work and I can't be funding their lifestyles forever, so you know, we need to give them the hookup. Oh, what was that? What was that, black conservative man? You want a 6-figure corporate job too? Well, give me your resume, and I'll push it over to them, and we'll get back to you. Those are the rules you're going to have to follow when it comes to dealing with the GOP plantation. As far as this is concerned, I do not see any benefit in joining either one of these hashtags, whether ADOS or Blexit, because quite frankly, one, these hashtags do not address the real interests, concerns, and desires of thinking ebony men. 2, as far as hashtags are concerned, any hashtag that you use is just a way of being a lazy activist. This is armchair activism if I've ever seen it. And 3, if you really want to do something, don't rely on hashtags to save you. Do you know who really can save you? Only you can save you and stop forest fires. Yeah, only you can save you. Only you and your personal life and your personal actions and whatever decisions you make, those are the things that can save you. Every single time you get up on any given day, you have the opportunity to save you. Not anybody else, not any hashtag, not any movement whatsoever. No matter what these people are promising, in the end, these people will not address your exact concerns. And quite frankly, that's if they address any concerns at all. In short, the ADOS movement lacks credibility, while the Blexit movement lacks dignity. Stop being lazy. Get up and start saving yourself. Everyone else out there, always bet on X.